Growing up, my mother used to tell me in Igbo, she said, "Eburozu ofuonye odike ikunkwo." Like when you have the corpse or the body, or a lifeless body of of somebody that's not a loved one. It's like you're carrying a log of wood, like firewood you used to cook. In the world now, we live in a world where things happen and we are quick to, scream and ask for justice, which is understandable. But it comes a point in time when we have to start looking for solutions to make sure that things don't continue to happen. In the case regarding justice for Sylvester Oronomi, the Delta boy that, with the case with the Dowen College, yesterday he went through my feed and, I said, what is this that is going on? And I clicked on the hashtag and my heart was breaking. And I was watching BBC Pidgin and I saw where this boy's father broke his heart, and he was telling the story of how his son went to college, high school, a 12-year-old boy, and was bullied, was, physically abused, was beaten by his schoolmates, that they received a phone call and the school authority called them to come and take their child, that child was sick, that the doctors, the school nurses on call have done everything and all to no avail. And they come and they picked their son up. And this boy was complaining of back pain, of, joint pain, knee pain, this pain. And they asked, what happened to this boy? And they said little Sylvester fell down while playing soccer, football. But when they took him to the hospital, they ran numerous tests. While there in the hospital, the boy opened up to his parents and said, Mommy and Daddy, in the night, 5 students came into my dormitory, into my room, and they beat me, and I fell on the floor, and they stomped on me, and they hit me. The gang beat him up, and they put something in his mouth. So when I was watching the video and I saw where this boy, his mouth was all swollen, that would tell you that this boy was given a poisonous substance. There is no fall you can have that will peel your lip like that. There is no fall. There's nothing that can happen to a child. Even if an insect beats you, as a mother of 3 children, my children fall sick. They have insect bite. They have so many things. Even right here in America, you can't have a child have his mouth that swollen. What kind of sickness is this that will make a boy this sick? That a fellow secondary school teenager will put a substance in a boy's mouth and force this boy to drink it. And this boy suffered. I watched the video where this boy was crying. This boy was groaning. He couldn't walk. He was hunched over. He was bent over. He couldn't walk. He couldn't cry. He couldn't even cry. He was moaning. If you know what a moan is, it's like you are all cried out. You don't have any strength to cry. He was moaning in pain and grunting in pain. And I saw another picture of where this boy passed. And in the picture, he had, dried up tears from his mouth, from his eyes. This boy suffered in pain. This boy suffered in pain. This is almost like a 1-year sad anniversary of John Davis. There was a Bring Back John Davis thing, and I cried last year. Around this time last year, I cried and I spoke about this. I said there was justice for Don Davis. Don Davis' mother, Mrs. Deborah Okezie, she came out and she wailed about what happened to her child. And some of the people were complaining and saying, Madam, keep quiet. Now a father, and I asked, when will this happen again? Because I know it's not a matter of when, it's of if, it's when. And the other girl died of sepsis infection. A lot of things are happening in dormitories, in secondary schools. Abuse are happening. Teenagers. And I am like, what is happening to the world? Is it that parents are failing their children? Is it that parents are not listening to their children? Parents, we are supposed to be a safe place for our children. I called my 8-year-old son. This morning, I was making pancake in the kitchen before coming to work. I called him, I sat him down. I said, let me tell you a story. And I told him a story of how a boy that was supposed to go back to dormitory was crying. He told his mother, he said, Mommy, I don't want to go back to school. And the father said, don't worry, he will get used to it. Can't you see? He used to be playful. He is no longer playful. That was a sign. You have a child that used to be playful, and the child is no longer playful. You have a talkative child, and the child stops talking. You have a child that was quiet, and he starts to act out. These are signs that something is going on with your child. Parents, we have to be in tune with our children. Listen to your children. Ask them questions after school. How was school today? Who did you play with? Who did you talk to? Who did you sit with during lunch? How was the play? What happened in school today? You have to ask them questions. When somebody did this to you, somebody was mean to you, what did you do? Did you tell your teacher? How did you react? There are certain questions. How did it make you feel? You have to ask your children. And this boy told his mother, he said, Mommy, please change school for me. And the mother said, but why? And because of fear, he said, okay, don't worry. I will go back to the same school. That was a sign that something is happening to this child. And they packed his things and they sent him back to school. An expensive school. This is a warning for us to know as parents that the fact that a school is expensive doesn't make it the best school in town. Because there is more to raising a child than academics. You have to worry about the child's spiritual, emotional, psychological health. There is so many things that goes on, especially in boarding school. I went to boarding school, so I am first-hand experience. My provision was stolen. My uniform was stolen. Up to one morning, I didn't have anything to wear. They called my mom. My mom, they had to come and pick me up. They stole everything. I mean, I went through that same abuse with my school mother's bunkmate. I went through that. So I told myself my child will never go to a boarding school. This child died, and not only did he died in pain. Parents, make yourself a safe place for your child. Make yourself a safe place to your child. Listen to your child. How do you listen to your child? Make your home a place where your child can talk to you. Because the thing in Africa is when you ask your parents questions, the first thing they tell you, shut up and be quiet. You don't let your children ask you questions. You don't let the children to challenge you, because the truth of the matter is, as you have children, your children are supposed to change you. If you were harsh before, your children are supposed to make you calm down. Because if you don't listen to your children, if your children can't talk to you, can't tell you what is happening in school, what is happening in their playground, they will suffer and die in silence. And then before you know it, had I known become our name as parents. But God forbid. It is time. When I told my son, I said, Toby, this boy was eating and he was rushing his food the first time he came back from school. I said, what does that space say to you? My son said, Mommy, I think it says to me, it means that somebody used to take his food in school. I said, yes. And then he used to talk a lot. When he came back home, he stopped talking. What does it mean? He said, I think he was sad and depressed. I think he was very sad. Something was happening to him. Now, this is my 8-year-old child. How do you speak to your children? If your children cannot come and talk to you, believing that you cannot hit your hand on your chest and defend them, is it when it is late? When it is late and then we are crying. As you are watching this video today, can your child come and speak to you? Can your child come and tell you, can your child say, Mommy, I don't want to eat rice, I want to eat beans, I don't want to eat this? When your child says that, what do you say? Do you tell them, shut up, you must eat beans, you must eat rice, you must do this? No, you can have, you can have a liaison with your children. Say, okay, if you don't want rice, can you try beans? Even if it's only rice you have, you sit your child there and say, my child, I know you're tired of eating this rice, but the economy is hard. We don't have money. This is all we can afford. By the grace of God, in time, you can have different kind of variety of food and you can eat what you like. But my child, please understand, and please manage this rice. If you speak to your child in this way, your child will not only understand that my parents are listening to me and how I feel. My parents are also teaching me life skills. Enough of the shut up and be quiet. Enough of the don't talk. Enough of don't cry, you're not a baby. You're a man, be a man. Stop crying. Enough of all this training that was passed down to us that is breaking down our family units. Enough. It is time for us to bring our children close to us. It is time. And if you know that your child is not mentally strong enough, don't send your child to a boarding school. Look at your children. The fact that this child or this child went to boarding school and they did well does not mean that this other child will go and flourish. Know who your child is. Know what your child can handle. Put your eyes in your child's body, like we say. Bring your eyes down. If your child begins to change from who you used to see them as a child, don't just say, oh, my child is just changing. No. Monitor your children. Ask them questions. Bring them inside your room. Bring your voice down. Too much holla, 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 holla. It's not working. That is not how you train a child. You teach them how to express themselves. And I know it's not easy, because the way that many of us were trained, we are not trained to have conversation with our parents. But the times are changing. With social media, with the internet, the times are changing. And we have to keep abreast with how you raise your children right now. If you know your child is problematic, don't send your child to a boarding school. There are things that schools right here do. Like every day, my children right here in America, they have character, what's it called? Charts. They give them colors. They have almost 5 or 6 colors. They have blood red, they have yellow, they have orange, they have green, they have purple, and they have pink. Now, these are colors that teachers give every day. So when your child comes back to school, you look at your child's chart. Not only are you checking for the homework, you are checking to see how your child behaved. If your child had yellow or red, that means red means you are very, very bad. Orange means caution. Yellow means they are beginning to warn you. Green means you behave just okay. Purple means you are doing excellent. Pink means you are a role model student. Now, this character chart tells you how your child is behaving every day. We have to understand that you send your child to school. Your child can behave perfect in the house, but when they go to school, when they know you are not watching them, how is their behavior? Now, these are things that school can implement. When Justice for Don David was trending, I made some suggestions. I said, if you know your child is in a boarding school, they should have intermittent phone calls once or twice a month, where you can call your parents. Your parents can hear your voice. Your parents can know what is going on in your school. Only you and your parents. You can tell your parents anything. They should also have counselors. Every school should have a guidance counselor that you can go to. If your parents are not close to you, you can tell the teacher. If you can't talk to the teacher, the counselor should be somebody that is friendly, welcoming, where the students can come and talk to them. And then a school for this, like this Dowen College, thank God that it has been closed by the Lagos State government, they should have a counselor that students can always go to and express what is going on with them. Because this boy has been going through this bullying, and they told this Sylvester to join their cult. And people are like, how can a school like that have a cult? Is it not a school? Children go to school and they form bad habits. If you don't catch it on time, it expands, and then they want other children to join. There is a lot in this case. They even said those boys have escaped because their parents, have the wherewithal, and they have sponsored these children out of the country. This case is unfolding, it is unveiling. But my heart is breaking, and I want this to be a clarion call, a wake-up call for parents. Watch your children. Get to know your children. It is not too late. Bring your mind down. Listen to your children. Know your children's temperament. Know your talkative children. Know the quiet ones. Know the ones that does bad things. The ones that you can defend. Get to know your children. So when you begin to see signs that all is not well, you take action before it is too late. Precious people, I'm going to follow this case. And by the grace of God, I hope justice for Sylvester is found. I will see you next time. My heart is breaking, and I pray his soul rest in peace. And I pray that God gives his parents the fortitude to bear this loss. We will continue to speak, because enough is enough. We cannot continue to lose our children, especially to schools where we send them to go and learn to be better citizens and be better children.